thing. I didn't tell you guys. Hello guys, this is Krista from Dostoevsky in Space, and I'm here today with my March wrap-up and my April TBR. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on these books. I've been spending a little more time with them on my Instagram, and I have some ideas to make sure that I'm getting you guys the details all month long, and that should be starting very soon on my channel. And I'm not gonna announce it because I'm sick of announcing things and then not being able to finish them, but hopefully this one will pan out. So here we go. First of all, I did finish the Russian alphabet. I am still reviewing it. I'm a little shaky on certain letters, but I can write them all in cursive. I have memorized the sounds that they make and some of the names. The names just aren't as important to me. I just need to know what they sound like. Of course, pronunciations are different depending on various things. Pronunciation is kind of complicated in Russian, but I'm learning and it's very exciting and I'm loving it. Also, I finished the Brothers Karamazov for hashtag Brothers Karamazov 2021. This month, I read it with Una and Crypto from the Codex Cantina and Peg from the History Shelf and Victoria from Musical Bookworm, and we had a wrap up and it was amazing. I will link that up above for you because it's just wonderful, and I want everybody to know about it in case you're interested in the Brothers Karamazov because we had some wonderful conversations. You don't want to miss them. Also, John Adams, which I'm reading for a read-along with Ramsey from readathon. He's doing a presidential read-along. He reads a presidential biography like every month or so. We've been reading John Adams. While this isn't as good to me as Washington, it's just not quite as thorough in the details, and I really like thoroughness. If I'm reading about a topic, I want the most comprehensive, authoritative book on a subject. Even though this one won some award, I don't know what award it was, but I'm just maybe not enjoying it quite as much. And it might be because of the narrator. Honestly, Scott Brick is the one who narrated the Washington biography by Ron Chernow. That book is amazing. I think Ron Chernow is a perfect narrator. This audiobook with John Adams, you can hear his throat noises and stuff like that, so it's just not my favorite. However, regardless of all that, John Adams is fascinating. I'm loving following his relationship with his wife. I'm loving following all of his trips, his diplomatic trips all over Europe. He had to go all kinds of places, never having been a diplomat, show up, learn the language, and compete with Ben Franklin, whom everybody already loved. And man, Ben Franklin was a peach. But you know, so was John Adams. They were all peaches at various times. So I'm really enjoying getting like such a crazy up close and personal look at all of these founding fathers. It's really just so entertaining and fun. John Adams' policies were so interesting. I feel like I could talk about this all day. Thankfully, there's going to be a live show with Ramsey on his channel. I believe it's April 15th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST. So that's going to be really fantastic. I'm hoping that other people will be able to join us for the discussion because our Washington discussion was so much fun. I will link that up here because everybody needs to watch it. The Washington biography was literally one of my favorite books so far of the year. I, for middle grade March, DNF'd The Brave, which was really unfortunate, by James Byrd. That was like my only pick that I got to do for diversity, really. I really wanted to have a more diverse middle grade March if I could fit it in, but I couldn't fit it in. And unfortunately, I really just didn't like this book. It was definitely young adult. I don't know why they tried to sell it as middle grade. It's not middle grade. There's swearing, there's inappropriate romance, there's politicking, and also the characters aren't very subtle. The situations to me are just so unbelievable. Just as an example, in the beginning, this boy who has, it's not necessarily stated as OCD, but it's some kind of trauma-induced thing where he has to count the letters of every word that everybody says, and then he says the number of letters. Like, he just says it out loud. And in the very first scene, so it's not a spoiler, it's the first scene, his father and his principal shame him for being bullied. And this is in California. It's like, that would literally never happen in California. It really wouldn't. That would not happen to a native kid. That would not happen to a kid with disabilities. It just wouldn't happen. California doesn't do that stuff. There's so many laws and precautions against that kind of thing. So yeah, it just, to me, was like totally unbelievable. All of the adults were bad guys except for his Ojibwe mom, who was like an angel. And it was like, I don't know, none of these people feel real. They all feel like stereotypes to me. So unfortunately, I don't really read books with characters as stereotypes. I have learned that that is a deal breaker for me. If your book is just full of stereotypical characters, I'm not going to enjoy it. So unfortunately, I really didn't like that one. Happily, I did read 3 books that I really enjoyed from middle grade March. One of those was Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones, which I love. That was a reread for me. A+, one of my favorite middle grade books. So magical. It was Michael's Discord Ready read this month, and we did a watch along of the movie in his Discord, which was fantastic as well. Big thanks to Emma from Michael's Discord for screen sharing that for us. And I actually recorded an in-depth video on Howl's Moving Castle. If I can get that up for you, it should be my next video that goes up after this one. Hopefully. We'll see. Because I really wanted to get that up for middle grade March, and I just couldn't. I had some weird technical difficulties this month. Okay, moving on. Harry Potter 6 with Kevin. I've been listening to the Harry Potter series with my husband, and he is addicted, and it's fabulous. He doesn't read a lot for enjoyment, but when he does, he like binges the series normally. But this one he's taking very slowly with me. We're just listening to it whenever we have a medical appointment, because my medical appointments are really far out of town, and this is just a way to make it fun, and that's kind of the origin of why we started listening to these books. That's just been so much fun, and he is loving them. He loved book 6, so that was awesome. And then the other middle grade book I read was Miracles on Maple Hill by Virginia Sorenson, and this was the read-along book that I had with a whole bunch of other wonderful ladies, and I talked a little bit about that in my middle grade March TBR, so I'll just direct you to that if you want to know more about the read-along. This book is what Kate Howe very astutely classifies as light academia as opposed to dark academia. She has a whole bunch of stipulations for that. It's a fascinating video. I will link her light academia video down below so you can hear her talk about it. But basically, there's so many descriptions of nature in this book. It's really lovely. And it's about this family that's going to Maple Hill and seeing how maple syrup is made, and it's a healing journey for them. There's so much moments in nature, and there's like farming, and they have to kind of live off the land a lot, and it's very healing for the main girl, whose name is Marley. Her father is dealing with PTSD from the war, and that wasn't something that was really talked about at the time this book was written, so it's really fascinating the way it's dealt with. Their family dynamics are somewhat troubling. They treat Marley very badly at times, not like abuse exactly, but they don't seem to appreciate her for the delightful being that she is. But regardless, it is a lovely, lovely book, and illustrations are fantastic, and the audiobook is like full cast, and yeah, it was a really fun book. The plot doesn't happen until the very end, so try and stick in there if you make it into the end. But my favorite part by far were the nature descriptions. It's really just lovely. It reminds me of where I live. It's very rural where I live, and we live in California, so there's just everywhere is a different kind of nature that you look. So it's really lovely, and that's what it reminded me of. So I would probably give that one a B. Very enjoyable, even though it had problems, which frustrated me at times. I really did enjoy it. Okay, so next I read a Victorian mystery called The Dead Secret. This was for Kate Howe's Patreon Victorian book club, which I joined because, of course, Kate Howe's A Most Victorian Book Club read-alongs was the first closet club that I joined when I joined BookTube. And so I was just so thrilled that she made that available to everybody. So when it went onto Patreon earlier this year, I was kind of bummed because I don't have a lot of money to spend on that kind of stuff. But we ended up fitting it into the budget because it was very important to me. And I'm so glad that we did, because her Zoom discussions about her books, and she has like socials where we all talk about what we're reading, they're just so wonderful, and the discussion for The Dead Secret was just as amazing as the Miracles on Maple Hill Zoom discussion was. It's just so rewarding. I rated this book a C+, because I did find it extremely enjoyable, even though like there were problems with it. I really though quite enjoyed it. Yeah, there was some just fantastic humor moments in The Dead Secret by Wilkie Collins, is who wrote it. Yeah, I'll just move on from there. I also read Golden Sun earlier this month, and Alan from Library of Alexandria is doing the Feb Rising read-along, which is a read-along through the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. And he's doing live shows on his channel, and it's really just so much fun. The live shows are fantastic. I will put that down below if you haven't checked it out. I'll actually link up here the live show for the first one, which I was in. Golden Sun was just as good to me. I loved the entire thing, just like I did with Red Rising. This is really one of my favorite sci-fi series. I haven't finished a lot of sci-fi series. I loved this one. I binged it. I binged it again on reread. It's fantastic on audio. It's fantastic just reading it. I really have no complaints about this series. I know that there are people who have complaints. I don't really get it. So I can't explain to you what their complaints are exactly, because I don't really understand them. It's just so good. It's a rip-roaring ride, so I highly recommend those. Basically, Golden Sun takes place like a 2-year gap after Red Rising starts, and you see a lot of the old cast from the first book, and the plot is just going from go. It never stops. Book 1 is about a kid from the lowest class of colors. Their society is arranged by colors, ending up in a school for the highest class of colors, and he has to go through some genetic stuff to get there, and it's quite harrowing. And the whole idea is to make society more just, because as it is, it's very unjust. Like I said, highly recommended. Okay, next, I started Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, because Evie from She Was Only Evie did this read along in the Shelf Space Discord, and I totally forgot to mention this in my TBR last month, and I still haven't finished the book. I'm probably only like an hour into the audiobook, and I'm listening to it because I've already read it once, and I am enjoying it more this time around. I think it has something to do with understanding the romantics a little bit better after reading Romantic Outlaws last year. But yeah, it really is just, it's romantic. They're traveling through the snow on sleds, and it's like this expedition to the North Pole is right where the story starts off. It's written in letters, and it's written by the captain of this expedition to the North Pole, and he sees people off in the distance, and they're like, why are there people on sledges at the North Pole? It's kind of like a mystery. You're starting off with this just incredible mystery, and he talks about how he gathered his crew, and he went to various like cities in Russia, and of course that strikes my heartstrings. And there's all these characters who just have these really romantic backstories, like a count who forsakes his arranged marriage because he learns that the girl is being forced into it even though she has another person that she's already in love with, and so he forsakes it. He gives the guy all his money so that they can get married without the father's objections, and like there's just so much great stuff in it. I'm really enjoying it. Really glad I'm rereading that. So thank you, Evie, for drawing my attention to that. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all that I really read. It was a fantastic reading month for me. And I also started War and Peace. I'm reading this with Jennifer Brooks and Christina from Knitting Books, etc. And that is going swimmingly so far. I definitely need to catch up though, so I should probably get going and get this edited for you because I'm already at 16 minutes. Okay, TBR coming up. Go! I didn't tell you guys! I got my first short story published in An Unexpected Journal, which published my Brandon Sanderson Starsight review. They now have published my first piece of short fiction. It is linked in the description below. Okay, so things that I want to do next month. I would like to write 1 page every day for Camp NaNoWriMo, and that's it. 1 page every day. I have some ideas that I'm just outlining in my head. I would like to also, if I get through the 300 pages of War and Peace by the end of this month, I also want to read 600 pages of it next month, plus whatever is left over if I don't finish this month. Total, by the end of next month, I should be finished with 900 pages of War and Peace. Slaughterhouse-5. I can't wait for this. I'm doing a read-along of this with the Codex Cantina and Leslie, and we're going to be talking about it in Literary Discourse, and I can't wait. And this is a pretty short one, so if you want to join us, that'll be cool. There's going to be a live show on my channel. Please do join us. It's very short. Oh shoot, I don't have my boxed set right here of the Space Trilogy, but I'll be reading books 1 and 2, so Out of the Silent Planet and Paralandra, with Victoria and Summer from Summer's Moving Bookshelf and Amanda from her Pacific Northwest Washington life. That's going to be a read-along, and we're going to have live shows on Victoria's channel. Definitely come hang out with us. That's going to be so fun. My mom's going to join us. I'm so excited about that. I haven't read a book with my mom in so long. Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Oh, I can't wait for this one. This one I have high hopes for because Golden Sun was beautiful. So this is for the Feb Rising read-along with the Library of Alexandria. This is the longest one for sure, but I have confidence that I will finish it because I am on fire with these. I love them. Oh, and this was a birthday gift, you guys. I should tell you, I do have my wish list linked down below in the description if you would like to send me books. I do have mostly books on there that are for read-alongs that I will be either participating in, co-hosting in, or hosting in. So if you want to support the channel in that way, you can totally go down there and send me stuff. So many of my friends sent me stuff. Leslie sent me this one because she's just amazing, obviously. Kate sent me the book 1. Victoria sent me this. There were so many good ones. Jennifer sent me this. This is the one that I switched to. This is my 3rd copy of the Brothers Karamazov. Okay, anyways. Oh, and I'm so excited about this. Emma, Emma the Bookish Princess, in her Discord is doing a read-along of an Elizabeth Goudge book. And I can't find it anywhere through my library system or through my audiobooks availability. So that's really unfortunate. There is no audiobook for that one, and I don't own it, and my library doesn't own it. So I tried to order for my library. We'll see if it gets here, because I'd love to read that with her next month. for her read-along. We'll see though. I have to get a copy of it, obviously. Thomas Jefferson, The Art of Power by John Meacham. That will be for Ramsey's presidential read-along. That would be the option for audiobook readers because the one that he's reading is not on audiobook, and I'm reading these almost exclusively on audiobook. And then I go back through later and like remember what I wanted to talk about and I take notes. I might read that, or I might read Hamilton by Ron Chernow because I really want to read Hamilton and I'm not that interested in Jefferson. I know that I should read Jefferson. It's just that I've read so many of his opponents now that I just have this sort of negative view of him, I guess. But I kind of felt the same way about John Adams, and seeing it from his perspective makes a difference. And of course, anytime you're like hearing from somebody's own perspective, it makes a big difference. So I don't want to give up on that. I would like to read that if I can. I got an audiobook copy really easily, so that's a bonus. Dead Souls! Oh, this is going to be a read-along with the Codex Cantina. We won't be having any live shows, but we will be discussing it in Literary Discourse and buddy reading it, and I'll probably do like a vlog or some kind of video about it. I am planning on actually doing that in May. However, I would like to get started this month if I can, because it's a pretty long book. That is it! Oh, Betsy65. So,
wow, I feel like all my energy just like went down the drain. I think I'm gonna be done now for the night, folks. I didn't get very much sleep last night.
Enough whining, Christy. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody who supports this channel. Make sure you check out the information I also have linked down below about Families Together. That is the charity that all of my proceeds are now going to. I am finally monetized. That's why you're getting like a gazillion ads on my videos now. Please watch the ads. It really helps me out, because then I can send the money off to my charity, and I really hope that I can give them lots of money in the future. I have to get to $100 before I can actually get the money and send it to them. And I'm at like $1.99 right now. So everybody who watches ads, thank you so much. You help out so much. Thanks, guys. Please do give me a thumbs up in the corner. Let me know what you are reading in April, what you read in March. Especially if you read something that you loved, I want to hear about it. If you read something you hated, I also want to hear about that and why. Please tell me why. The why is very important. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this, if you want to see more videos from me, and hit that little notifications bell if you want to be notified anytime I make a new video. Make sure to check your settings and make sure that your notifications are actually on your device that you are watching this on, so that you can get notified, because otherwise it doesn't notify you. Thanks so much, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.